Maria.
Veronica? It's RJ. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. This should be really simple, as I think I said in the email when it comes up at the same time as you. So I'll briefly introduce you and then turn it over to Kelly. Good. We're going to be good. I promise.
Thank you.
Twice in a day? I'm sorry. You're on the shelf out there.
It's very cool.
You're just doing this next to VR. I feel like I just shortened his life by Who's it next to?
Councilperson Diana.
Present.
Councilperson Kazarian. Present. Councilperson Figueroa. Present. Councilperson Villaslugo.
Present.
Councilperson Lozano Martinez.
Present.
Councilperson Solano. Present. Council President Perry. Present. President, we have four.
Thank you. Will all please rise for the pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I thank you.
Next item on the agenda is public comment. We have Grupo Pueblo Dorados here to speak. Does she need a translator?
Buenas tardes para todos. Nosotros somos el Grupo de Puerto Dorado del Progreso Latino. El Progreso Latino. Nosotros venimos porque el 9 de mayo nosotros estuvimos en la apertura o celebración del centro aquí en Broad Street. Y nos dijeron que probablemente que nosotros íbamos a tener un espacio para el grupo de nosotros que es bastante grande. Estábamos muy contentos por esto y todo, pero hace una semana nos dijo Mario que él no íbamos para allá nada. Entonces nosotros queremos saber si hay algún espacio para nosotros en alguna parte, porque somos bastante grandes en el grupo. El sitio más
May 5th this year.
Groundbreaking for a center. No, that was when it happened. When the groundbreaking.
Fue con la alcaldesa, nosotros estuvimos allá, y inclusive estaba el gobernador, había varias personas, y nosotros hasta dimos un discurso de agradecimiento por el espacio que nos estaban ofreciendo.
So in that ceremony, the mayor was there, the governor was there, we then gave a speech, thank you for the space.
De Progreso Latino. En una junta que tuvimos hace como una semana. Sí, Progreso Latino.
It sounds like Valencia was under the impression that the mayor had reserved the space for that at its symbol based on the groundbreaking ceremony and the fact that it was set there, and so they also gave a thank you speech that day, accepting the space or saying thanks or allowing them to have that space. And then now it sounds like something has changed, and they were now told last week that that space is no longer available. So they're, I think from what I'm hearing, TSA sounds like they're disappointed that the space is no longer available to them, and looking to see if there is another space available. Instead of giving them space.
I personally would rather this for both sides. I just don't comment unless that doesn't
I want to say something interesting. Doña Lucía, I think that the best option for this is communicating directly with the mayor and with the mayor office for conference all the information, before to finalize everything. Always, I know this administration, we are here for helping you guys have the best spaces for you and serve for the best service for the area community. I know the mayor administration, this council working with the best with everything that we have right now for you guys. Yeah, I know if you guys see the representative seat with the mayor office and this administration, you guys can finalize all the specific needs about it. Lo voy a decir en español para ustedes directamente. Que estamos aquí escuchándola, pero yo digo que la mejor opción es hablar con la oficina del alcalde y con la alcaldesa para verificar realmente la información, ya que esta administración y la alcaldesa Rivera siempre ha sido una aliada de buscar los mejores espacios y los servicios para todos los residentes y en especial para las personas de la tercera edad. Y yo sé que ella va a hacer todo lo que está a su alcance y estos concejales que somos nosotros para darle los mejores servicios a ustedes. Y verificar exactamente la información correcta para tener la decisión final entre el Progreso Latino y la administración de la ciudad. ¿Okay?
Yeah, it's Lucia. Lucia's spoken to your mother, and that's why I got the idea to come over here for the best it's a promise to have. It's saying that promise to give the space and let's see what happens. That's the reason why there is a path for pretty full. I'm sure we can work this out. First time it's clear, which I gave you but there is a path pretty full, and she will get no time. We can't make a decision yet. They will watch right now.
I would just add, Mr. President, that when the building comes online, any leases between the city and a nonprofit organization will be subject to city council approval or design.
¿De ustedes, después de escuchar eso de Marco, han contactado a la oficina de
Hemos tratado de incentivar el espacio ahora para hablar con el y fue que Mario, en la reunión que tenemos con Mario de la Junta de la Junta Directiva, Mario dijo que no íbamos a hablar porque él
Por eso le digo. Por eso es que hay que conversar bien con la administración, porque no ves que ahora usted me dice que Mario le dice que él va a decidir poner otra cosa de todo eso, porque no es que se ha quitado el recurso a la organización. Por eso es que es bueno comunicar hablar entre la oficina de la alcalde y nosotros para que la información correcta esté en la mesa.
So, Mr. President, my question just want translation for the rest of the council. My question was, after hearing this from the director of Vespertino, did you have any contact with the mayor or the mayor's office? And they said yes. However, it was a wait time in order to meet with them until November, to which then Doña Lucia responded and said that when she heard the news from Progreso Latino, and this is a clarifying point, is that the director of Progreso Latino is the one that's deciding to put in a clinic instead of their space. So it's not necessarily an administration decision on our end, it has been a decision on
Mr. President, they have RJ here. Maybe he has
Looking for the mayor's office.
Yes.
the mayor's office.
Not that I'm not loud. Yes, exactly. So, going back 2 years to the original formulation that I got here of El Centro, we've been in contact with Progreso Latino and the executive director there, always knowing that there was a desire to use some of the space. But the city has been consistent in saying yes, and we work closely with Mario, that we think that there is, and we're facilitating use of the space. It won't be exclusive use of the space in a public facility, so things will have to be put away so that other groups can reserve the space. But Close coordination continues to happen with Progressive Latino. We always appreciate all of your guys' feedback. I'm confident that we're going to be able to come to a conclusion to this that allows everybody use of the space, but nobody exclusive use and ownership over a publicly funded building or space in that building.
Lucía, ¿alguna pregunta? Lucía, you want to give a question or the other?
No, era solamente eso, porque nosotros estamos necesitando un espacio. Ya, y somos como 80 y nos reunimos como 50 y tantos diarios, porque unas van y vienen, están en los países o enfermas, entonces no podemos movernos mucho, porque no hay mucho espacio.
Normally 80 of us and on the daily, let's say, we go when there's
Gracias, saben que siempre estamos aquí para asistir lo que podamos. Obviously, I can work assisting you guys.
Next item on the agenda is approval of records, meeting minutes of December 8th. The next item on the agenda is executive communication, consideration of appointment to the personnel board by Mayor Rivera of Maria Veronica Cano of 502 Street, Central Falls, the term set to expire January 1st, 2028.
Good evening, council members. I want to briefly provide an introduction for Ms. Cano. The mayor was really impressed and thought that her NLL background and her long service, 5 years, I believe, with the Central Falls Public Schools shows an investment in Central Falls and in this community. We had an interview process with Ms. Cano and the staffer for the HR department person on the board to introduce her to the particulars of the board. And after that, both sides felt that this would be a good fit for both in this important position of public trust. With that, I really want to allow Ms. Cano to answer any questions.
One comment, Veronica, why you want to say thank you for being available, to work in your community and the senior and of course, thank you for everything. Welcome.
So I've had the whole run for a long time, or as on for a while, in different capacities. And I think that, as RJ mentioned, the strong background, not only with our MLL students, but in immigration, documentation, and all of the things that require a lot of diligence and organization. That background would be very well received in a board like a personnel board. And so I would just say that, given my experience with she would be a great asset to the itself. Thank you, Dr.
All those in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, usually work
Thank you.
Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, communications with Rockland County Enforcement. Sheriff's Office, Department of Public Works, Sheriff's Department. A motion to
Yeah.
So motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, number 6, is Council President, will you move the claims? Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Yes.
Has everyone read the report on Okay, yeah, yeah. So you got a bunch of
Mr. President, the law department reviewed this claim, and essentially, this is a claim that was timely filed in September of this year. The allegation that has Ms. Soto was driving by, that a weed whacker by the city's DPW struck a pebble or rock or something sharp, projected into her passenger side window, shattering it. She's presented evidence of estimates to repair the window, I believe around $250, and then her claim is amount is for $1,000. So I assume in her claim she says that she had a bag, some food, and sunglasses that were damaged, and that she missed 4 days of work as a result of 4 hours. 4 hours. 4 hours of work. So I think there's clear evidence that the city ought to pay the $250 for the window. I think we can leave it to the council's discretion as to whether you want to cover the song.
Basically, the phone is $250. I wonder if it goes higher, we
The interlocal deductible is $2,500, so the city's on the hook for anything up to $2,000.
So you had basically additional groceries and glasses.
No, it's mostly the glasses and bag. And then like I had to go to work and I couldn't drive with that day. Obviously it was raining, the next day it was raining, but I didn't put that in there. So I didn't miss work. I was 4 hours late on that day, and then I used somebody else's car the next two days.
Yes, Do you have and do you include
we only come to the Dallas.
what the first lesson here?
No, I didn't, no.
Like the evidence.
Do you know how the evidence of the playing card?
Or the background.
Yes.
And the background was on the picture itself.
What exactly happens to the background?
So it got the carpet over the
Okay, so there was coffee that spilled everywhere, and so because it's a leather background.
Yeah. Did you have it?
I got it. I never tried flat that way either, never. And then the other end was my mom's house, and then of course, where do you work? I work in this house.
Well, I know the highway,
Based off of the facts that she's told us, articles that she needs that is not in English, I would recommend
highway. Get your glasses in the house. That'll put it down.
I said. Aye.
motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Next item on the agenda are the new business city council sitting as board of license commissioners, hearing and consideration of additional licenses. We have a Class A restaurant group, Miss Lydia Ayala Choco, doing business as Salud y Vida, 797 Broad Street. We have a translator here.
¿Cómo están?
Per year. So that's why
la licencia la revocación de la
I have a question. So you've been running the business, but this is a transfer of ownership, so someone else was the owner and you are now becoming the owner, is that correct? usted es la que ha estado manejando el negocio, pero ahora lo va a poner a su nombre. I would make a motion, Mr. President, in the business itself a couple of times, and it's clean, it's run, there's people in there. She's always very friendly, and if it's going well, why not let her take the reins also?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Éxitos.
7-0.
Felicidades.
Next item on the agenda is a Class A restaurant review, OM and M&M LLC, doing business as Fiesta, 310 Broad Street, and that is Fabio Munoz here.
Yeah, somewhere, right from the CBS.
Did you go to another location?
No, I have another location.
Okay.
Yeah, also Pennsylvania.
I was excited to start.
Tan easy for them because it's like the system.
They were open for like 6 months.
Yeah. Are you folks almost all set to open, ready to open?
Yeah, I'm ready to open. I'm gonna have the grand opening Saturday. Saturday's the grand opening.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. You working 7 days a week.
Yes.
Stay again to midnight.
Yes.
So you will sell alcohol?
No.
Just to
This one.
How are you going to, we want to be business friendly, right? But you're also a Mexican restaurant, not a Mexican restaurant. What makes you different from restaurant?
Mine is like, I'm like all the Mexican restaurants, I feel like they're all the same. They got meat with onions and cilantro. Mine is more like Americanized. Like more like lettuce, cheese, sour cream, guacamole. So it's like Tex-Mex.
I mean, it's like bajas and chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, people can see and they can pick
Yeah,
whatever.
they can make everything. They're just
Yeah.
ready to go.
In compared to the other ones that you really
You gotta sit down, you gotta order. and,
Well, easy and go.
Yes.
So it'll be like Subway style?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
How many employees do you got in house?
They're gonna have like 6.
That's good. Great.
Yeah.
Good job this year.
Are they gonna be from Seattle?
I've been emotional.
All
All in favor, signify by saying
Alright.
right, thank you.
Felicidades.
I'm gonna be there Saturday, the grand opening, so if you guys stop by.
What time?
Motion passes.
We're open at 11 till
What time they go open?
11.
11
But I'm having the radio station, and DJ Cabeza is gonna go there 4 to 8.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is for an amusement and entertainment FFL permit, Central Halls UK Store, and Wallace Street in Toronto. Mr. Thomas Anderson will be here when we send them.
I know time very well.
I think CFOC is doing a great job in making our kids, I mean, Yeah, there's hundreds of people over there, participating, the families are super involved. This is something to benefit. I know how heartwarming it is, especially for nonprofits, so I think it's a great idea.
I want to say something first. Gina, welcome. This is great event, I'm fan of having forest there. Feel that drivers and people can be there, can enjoy that pasta night. Just at the location on the other
I'm
side.
more than happy to do that. That's what happens when you have time to do stuff. Usually the locations there when I put stuff. But I will update that.
Thank you.
I'll fix it and you guys can see the update.
I will see any other recording question. I second the motion, Mr. President.
The location is
Smith Park.
Okay, because it was so Harvard Field. That was.
No, it's Smith Park. It'll be our Facebook. Right under the.
That's what it was called?
Yes.
So then maybe what needs to happen is the application is
Okay.
Update. Okay.
because it is selected.
Okay. Again.
Maybe Charles Town might be glad to talk to this
It's okay. You just half of our kids can. Maybe you can come out and practice with them.
I even go blind now and then. All those, we have motion.
Yep, and the sex.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's a lot.
Thank
Motion
you.
passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, number B, is a petition presented by the City Council by Ms. Maria Siecky, 667 Fort Washington Highway, doing business as American Colombian Liquors, 730. She's requesting a 3-month extension while renovating the business.
My name is Andres Bradley. I will be here in representation of the Antilles emergency. As stated, we are looking for an extension of the license in terms for tax systems of that nature. Those have been brought up to date. The reason for the extension is undergoing a remodel to the business. We actually rode around today, and I stopped by there before getting here today. And as of 6 o'clock, they were still there working on things that need to be done. The main reason we worry that we might not be in time finished with the remodel for the December 1st deadline from what we are requesting, it will be approximately about a 3-month extension. It is right across the street from Navigate and also Crescent.
Next to Benjamin's. Yes, right from Green Road. Colombian Liquors has been around for a really long time, and unless there's strong professional learning reasons or solutions, I think it makes sense. I mean, they're trying to fix it, you know. So I would make them, yeah, I would make
I'm grateful. I really appreciate that. We really do.
Even if you have to,
I just really want to say that the city doesn't have to all of us. We really appreciate this extension. We are really taking this remodel very seriously. Thank you all for your time.
Yeah, so I would make, I'll second. Bye-bye.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you so much.
Next item on the agenda under 2 is Kimberly Polanco at 636 Longdale Ave, doing business as Elka Audio, Mayor Bar and Grill. Ms. Polanco is asking for a 2-month extension and license going to also renovate for inspections.
no problem, as I go ahead
No, I think it's similar to the biggest
situation of the
Yeah, so I'll make the motion.
So it's a
My dad's the owner of the building, the guy that was renting, so we have to, he took everything, so it's his before actually, so we're trying to put it back on his.
Who did that?
I saw you guys planning to sell the building or just the business?
My dad was planning on selling the building, but I think he's gonna keep it.
Because I see the sign say by the owner.
Yeah.
So the building is, the business itself is closed right now.
That's the moment because it's,
You can't function without the stuff.
So that's gonna be the city?
yeah,
So it's a month or 3 months.
it's 3 months, I had one.
No, it said it's here, but Mr. Blair said. Yes. So we have a motion.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is Cosmopolitan Inc. 494 Webster Street, Central Drive, 106 Cosmopolitan. Their request is extended hours per year.
Hello. How are you? Likewise.
Who has to be
Good evening, members of the council. Captain Tugas, Falls Police. On receiving this...
Captain, if I could just have you speak into the microphone, it just makes it so the public record after
Captain Tugas, Falls Police. Upon receiving this request, this department did an inquiry into the coastal service related to the Cosmopolitan Bar and Grill. In 2025 alone, we responded to the bar or its immediate area 244 times. We've had numerous violations, including disturbances, fights, arrests, assaults on police officers. We have had meetings with the ownership of the bar. Security plans have been put in place, and we've seen some positive results. However, those plans were established in late August, and only about 6 weeks removed since their implementation. One such incident that just occurred was back on September 14th, where there was 2 arrests for disturbance outside. And that's where a police officer was also assaulted during that incident. We appreciate the cooperation of the bar owners and the establishment. However, we just feel at this time it is too much in its infancy in security protocols to see where we are. And it would be something we would be more open to revisiting maybe next year or further down the road when we have an established plan in place and some visible results.
So I thought we went around and around the last 2 years, and nothing good from this. We've established. Obviously, restaurant, we cannot come to the city time like 3 years. I first introduced the amendment to the ordinance. After it says the closing hours, hopefully we pass it. 2 words. Nothing good. We went round and round, maybe the last 3 years. The problems we had, we happened. So I'm giving thumbs up to the council members, and we'll be introducing an amendment that uses 2 words only. Give it to you, down the street, this one, that one. I'm kind of glad this came up now.
Yeah, we took it from last year. Last year we came and,
Yeah, that's.
and that's when we said what we was,
It's gotta stop.
training.
And what the officer said is true, and I'm trying, it's hard with people, and it's hard to get people, teach them how the system goes, and securities, and stuff, and
Yeah, and security is in personnel,
better job.
a lot of times we get relatives doing, say, who's doing security, I'm like, great,
No, we got a good company.
Bottom line
is,
nothing against you, but the bottom line is, nothing good.
When people drink.
I'm sorry to do this, but this could be the best thing ever happened. I've been tossed and turned since something.
So, my question is, so you will give any press guidance to any of the bars in the city?
Not by a man. Two words, road signs. That's the way we put it. But I think it's for, why is that? For the reason I'm just speaking.
It is, when is that?
As soon as possible.
Mr. President, I have a question for, when it's air, so I briefly counted, and it's 244 calls and about 150 or area checks. What is that, what is an area check specifically?
So an area check can be numerous different things. It could just be checking on closing, but generally in respect to certain bars that have higher volume patrons and a pattern of disturbances or crowd violations, those area checks consist of us having to post up and maintain presence during closing. So whether that's traffic control, crowd dispersal, all those factors. And yeah, I went through the original numbers. You are correct. It's 100. As of October 7th, we had 173 area checks at Cosmopolitan. I think the next closest to that was Lockton King at 165.
I spent a couple of months with the training.
After they implemented the new after they used a mayor power, the police department see the changes, or everything is still the same?
There have been positive strides. Security personnel on scene have been positive. We've had some alleviation of traffic. Back in March, we had issues with overcrowding. That's been alleviated as well. However, my only concern is to give you an honest assessment. We're only about 30 days removed from the last fight that we responded to. So I think it would be premature to tout the success outright, but I would say we're moving in the right direction.
That's another question. So right now, as of the time that the security plan has been implemented and sort of talked to the owners and they've implemented something new, said it's been about 6 weeks since then. They came here early because last year they were late. So would there be a consideration if it came a little bit later this year of say another 6 weeks or November? Because that would give a little bit more time to see how the implementation of the building would make sense. Because in your opinion,
it was too much of a hypothetical. We have to revisit and look at this current situation of data and that would
Plus, they're asking for you to have some additional numbers. That's the big difference. That's only one day.
so
Only one day, that's all it takes to have a rescue out there, police department out there, nothing against you. I think it's time you nip it in the bud. This is how we're educated people.
So, it says that it's a 30 days out of the fight, but when you see there's no big fights, we've been for 2 years, there's been 2 fights. Something that we're trying to figure out with this department is that we're not responsible for the people that are on the sidewalk, but we are now taking responsibility for that, even though it's not our responsibility, which it is, because we want the city to be a great city. And so we bring securities to make sure people just don't leave the parking lot, just make sure they leave the sidewalks, or make sure they don't park in the site. Because I know most of the calls, people call and say that they're parked where they're not supposed to, but this bus is for cosmopolitan. My restaurant is closer than any other restaurant. There is 2 more restaurants. Those are little things that I would like to let you know, so you understand the things that we're fighting at the same time. You know, sometimes people park in the parking lot, but they go to the front to the place. And sometimes people, yeah. So
Just parking in the parking lot.
so we're really trying to figure out with the police department to make it happen and see and
Do things right. We want to do things right. We want to make sure everything goes
We-
well.
we-
There's no fights, no people get hurt.
we hire a new security
company, and they're much better than the ones we had
And I
before.
want to appreciate you, maybe.
Only 1 hour. They'll be able to do it.
And I don't think that if
We'll stop selling liquor at 1 a.m. It's not that we're going to be selling.
and if we have to, we can hire
I see the officer.
So that we be
80
person
Yes, I've been against this for about 2-3 years. There's no point. Anyway, I'm hoping council members will feel my opinion. Those are now, all I want.
Mr. President, safety is first, of course, I understand that, we like to always be in that side, but I think it will, give the choice to the business owner also. Of course, I'm not able to approve this today, but maybe we can give the chance to them when they come back, maybe in the beginning of December, and check how's everything look in the police department. And of course, if you guys don't follow the principles, any issues happen in the business, of course we deny, but maybe we can give you the opportunity to go back in the meeting of December. Yes.
I just asked you, listen to the officer, his report wasn't necessarily needed. That's right.
Mr. President, I have another question now for them. We received a report from last year when we approved the trial period from the police department. I would just want to know, that report that was supposed to be given to us as council members from last year's period of trial. I'm not sure if you have the answer to that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the only car that was given a special permit was Bucky.
There was 2 and not a very.
So I know on the after hours of last year, we saw no visible additional calls specifically related to either of those 2 establishments. It was still a very busy night with no calls directly related to those 2 establishments.
Based on what was mentioned, Mr. President, I would like to, I don't know if we need a motion to postpone or if they just kind of come back as council. Does anyone make a motion? Okay, so I would make a motion to postpone the vote until to hear this petition again in our December meeting, so where some time has passed, and we can get.
December meeting, same day.
Right, yeah, it would be like, that's what,
If everything gets better with the security and everything, we'll do the police department.
right, we would consider it at that point, and I think that's the point that, Councilman Reyes was making when he said, allow you guys to come back, but I just wasn't sure we need a motion to do that, so if we do, I would make a motion, if not, then. So yes, my motion is to postpone this vote and, delay the petition until December so that we can see how the security measures that are now in place have played out by then. That would be good. I'll second.
Councilperson Diana?
Yes.
Councilperson Kazarian?
No.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Rios Lugo?
Yes.
Councilperson Marcelo Martinez?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Councilperson Ferry? Motion passes 5-2.
So we really passing.
Let's give
Yes.
them, give them that period, that trial.
It's not better because we follow the December meeting with everything that the police department suggests to us because we need to be definitely safer.
And we will receive the report from the police and.
Yes, we follow all this, the regulations after, in December, after, from today to there.
I just have one question for the police chief. For the reports that you had given us, are each one of those reports specifically a call for the cosmopolitan information, or is that for just in general?
So the list you would have gotten from, I believe that Major Carroll had provided, would be a mix. It'd be self-initiated and or calls for service. So it's a mix. So out of those, it looks like, based on what I have here, 172 area checks was a general self-initiated calls by the police department. There were an additional 22 calls for service that we received from either the bar or surrounding the and then directly going to the bar. And then there was 6 incident reports generated due to either overcrowding, disturbances, or non-compliance issues in the reform.
Thank you for everything you do to keep this be safe. Thank you.
We'll see you in December.
Thank you.
Always here, you have to operate in the business of the off-road, we follow the rules, see everything.
It's a teaching role for your mind.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, number 4, Nathaniel Lopez, Broad Street, doing business in Lexington, Broad Street. Mr. Lopez is requesting an emergency health extension license for
Good evening. So I'm requesting a license, renew my license because we were born in the business, changing a little bit the business model. So we can't have the fire department, you know, apply special facilities right now because we're building a business. So we want to just be a little time in 1 month so we can license. Thank you.
I'll second.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Next on the agenda, number 5 is Nancy Electric, advertising Union Inc., installing and expand poles on Fletcher Street. DPW did look over the plans and go
But the only question I had was, is this require damage to our sidewalk at all?
Generally, by definition, the installation of a pole would require drilling into our sidewalk, so yes.
So I guess the reason I'm asking is, like, they usually will repair it as well.
Yes, but, I mean, the installation of the pole, there's not like additional damage around it. There is, then the DPW department check that, and there would, but this, it wouldn't be like a lateral, this is for the pole installation, right? So this would be different than, for instance, like a lateral cut by a utility company when there's like a scar in the street. This is like the core of the sidewalk away. So there wouldn't be anything unless they botched the job to repair after the fact.
Well, yeah, I asked because it says one of them is being moved 2 feet closer to the sidewalk, so there's currently one.
Then, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Then yes, in that case,
Yeah,
they're
but there's
responsible
currently
for
one
closing
there.
the road. Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
I made the motion. Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda from the second schedule of bills hearing and consideration is the resolution of the City Council of the City of Central Falls, Rhode Island, endorsing the construction, renovation, improvement, alteration, repair, furnishing, and equipment of schools and school facilities in the city, including but not limited to the construction of a new high school and the acquisition from eminent domain of certain properties described herein, situated within the City of Central Falls, Rhode Island, pursuant to Rhode Island General Law, Section 16-9-5 and 16-9-8. Council President, it looks like someone walked away with the silent sheet.
Come find.
Mr. President, this is a resolution which is enabling. In other words, the law department has put this forward in hopes that we don't have to use it, but because we're trying to preserve a timeline for our kids at the high school to use the track and field in a timely manner, we're preserving the right to take this property by the domain, although we're in good faith negotiation with the property owner. I really don't want to get into more details than that in a public session. If council members have questions, I would ask that we go into executive session, but I would just say this resolution just allows the process to continue. There's about 10 steps you have to take to actually do this, including several more public meetings. So, but the city needs, at the end of the day, this property for the hill to properly meet safety standards to ensure that the kids using the track will not have a mudslide or some other catastrophic event from the hill fall on them. So if we want the track and field to open, we need this property. And so we have different avenues to pay for it, different avenues to acquire it. This is, I would say, the carrot and stick approach. This would be the stick, but we're offering lots of carrots right now. That would be my presentation.
Reserve action tonight.
I'm looking for council approval tonight so that if we need to go this route, we have the council approval already done. We also need approval from the school building committee and the school board of trustees as part of that 10-step process.
I'll make a motion to.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda on the schedule of bills hearing and consideration and resolution of the Central Falls City Council supporting local community development block grants, going to be by 2024 to Council President Edwards.
Can I see black
Good evening. My name is Jim Vandermeulen. I'm the planning director for the city of Central Falls. Appreciate the opening comments there. This is a request for approval of a resolution that would essentially enable the city to apply for federal funds that are made available to the state for various projects related to affordable housing. In this case, one project is the following the economic development category of funding. The way that the block grant program is structured is that for Central Falls and other cities that fall into the category of the small cities program under the CPA program, the municipalities have to apply for funds. We have been asked by a number of nonprofit organizations to apply for these funds online. The specific proposals are provided in the document that the documents are not.
Jim, how do nonprofits know to apply for these funds?
So generally, there are a couple things that can happen. We do have public meetings. That's a required part of that process. But in this case, we've actually been approached. The organizations know the funds. In one case, Crossroads Rhode Island actually spoke directly with the state office, the Department of Housing that administers the CBG program. They were advised to reach out directly to us. So I don't want to say that everybody is aware. I would make a blanket statement like that. The general awareness and availability of funds for organizations that are involved in seeking out funding for their programs.
Yeah, like I see some of the organizations we've worked with in the past, I know that they have worked in the past. One that I don't see that we usually see the rest of the people. So I was a little surprised on that, but not in a bad way, just.
And if I can just be clear, there are two, these are rolling applications. Economic development is one category. And the process the state uses is a rolling process. So they allocate a certain amount of funding. Once they've awarded funds up to that amount, the application process goes. Same for the housing. You may recall that back in the spring, we came before the council for submitting a competitive application. So it's a different category of funding that is available for essentially public infrastructure improvements, things like advanced park enhancements, as well as requests for funds to provide funding for essential services. And those are the categories that we work with other organizations, including the SRO. So if an organization is seeking funding specifically for affordable housing, this would be the opportunity to do that. And it may be that if not all the funds are used up, we may be coming back to you if we get another program.
And then after we pass the resolution, you would go to these organizations and then work together on an application to get all the specifics.
Essentially, and I'd be happy to get into details of that process. It's on the portal. What we can do is provide all the background information that's needed, all the application requirements. The organizations as the experts in what it is they're trying to fund it. We would work on the application, we provide whatever support they need in order to get that to the first record. You said that experience.
Motion passes 6-4-1.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda under C is a resolution covering Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th to October 15th, and celebrating the contribution of the Hispanic community in Central Falls, introduced by councilpersons Tatiana Valena, Rafael Pedro, Alberto Villas, Lorely, Gustavo Martinez, and Anthony Solano.
Your Honor, this is the major curious. Myself and Kevin were never notified. Actually, we not supported.
Yeah, and I think so.
I think there was something by email.
No, there was nothing by email, Mr. President. I can confirm that. And that I was the one that started the resolution.
Doesn't matter who started, all we need is one person only to introduce it when we get a chance to vote on it.
I understand, so the thinking behind it, if I may, it's celebrating, Hispanic Heritage Month, and so my thinking was as the sort of the representatives of the Hispanic community, if you will, because we have Hispanic descent, you know, it would make sense for all of us to sponsor together. Now, there's definitely an opportunity and a space for anyone else who wants to co-sponsor with us, and just because it's sponsored by us does not mean that, you know, you could not sponsor now. There's been many times. Yeah, perfect. I was gonna say, perfect, that sounds great. I think that's a great idea. And, you know, we've done that plenty of times during council meetings where anyone has agreed with something. I know I've done it with Councilwoman Rosa Martinez, and even along with Councilmember Rivas when they sponsor something and I feel strongly about it. I'm like, you know what, I would like to request an amendment to add myself as a co-sponsor to it. So that's definitely something that's welcome and something that we've done in the past.
Yes,
So-
Mr. President, you may add your name as a co-sponsor without making an amendment, just tell me, direct the clerk to like that.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry that you both really said that, but we were able to do this, when I think it's, you know, supported, sure. But, we understand.
Well, all you need is one sponsor and those that support.
Yeah, again, this was an opportunity that I offered council members, and if, you know, if maybe you felt that way when I asked you, No, like I said, Mr. President, this was an initiative that I was leading to allow the council members of Latino descent to also sponsor a resolution honoring Hispanic Heritage Month. However, in retrospect, I do see how you might have felt excluded. That was not my intention. I apologize if that's how you and Councilman Kazarian feel. I definitely welcome the co-sponsor on your end if that's something that you want to do. I also wish that when I did bring it up to other council members, such as yourself, Councilman Figueroa, if you felt that way, because I did specify that it would be coming from the Hispanic council members. You know, I always welcome feedback, and so at that point, that feedback would have been helpful because then I would have extended the invitation to everyone else. I'm always open to feedback in that way. And so, you know, we'll welcome it. If I may sort of speak on the resolution, it's, you know, Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated on September 15th to October 15th, as mentioned in the title of the resolution, and it honors the history, culture, and contributions of all the people that come from Spain and Mexico and the Caribbean, Central and South America. Here in Central Falls, it means celebrating all the stories and traditions of our residents who come from these countries. And I am honored still to, you know, lead the resolution recommending Hispanic Heritage Month here in Central Falls, where we know our city is over 60%, or rather 60% of our residents in our city identify as Hispanic or Latino, and I'm grateful to all of my colleagues who want to co-sponsor this resolution alongside me. It's not just about the celebration, you know, it's about recognition of the families, workers. I think I addressed that already, but I will again. I apologize if it made you feel excluded. That was not my intention. I only asked the members of Hispanic Heritage because it was about Hispanic Heritage Month. It was just a way for all of us to partner on this specifically. But moving forward, if everyone wants to sponsor resolutions or ordinances, that is always welcome. I always also try to co-sponsor things with people who work on specific things, like Councilwoman Rosa Martinez is working on something with healthcare. Again,
I joined that effort and we've done that in the past. I don't know how else to address it or say it.
I'll give you the point, we'll all get a chance to speak on a resolution or an ordinance. Just be one person introduce it.
But I think there's ways to also partner on things and co-sponsor together. Now, I do understand you only need one sponsor to get something on the agenda, and at the same time, like if people want to co-sponsor or join efforts on things, I think that's also possible, or I don't see anything against that, or like
The only problem is, by doing it this way, if you miss someone, I'm not offended, don't get me wrong. I just wanted to point it out. I try to get everybody, you're gonna offend somebody, because, again, I'm not offended, I'm gonna vote for it.
And I did talk to you about the resolution, a couple of weeks ago when you asked me to have a resolution. I told you exactly who was sponsoring it. So again, that feedback would have been welcomed at that time as well. We joked about Italians and how you were going to sponsor. Okay, so you do remember. And so, we did have this conversation. So again, that feedback would have been helpful and welcomed at that point. I still welcome this feedback. Thank you so much. And I don't know how else to explain my thinking behind it, but it is what it is.
Thank you, colleagues. We appreciate it.
Listen, I totally agree with you. I think, in the ideas that put here, but I think so, I'm sorry.
Well, no,
I definitely,
I
just want to move forward.
was looking around to add,
I don't know all the way when I agree with you.
so with that,
And thank you, Council President Perry and Council Secretary for joining this resolution.
Passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda under D, ordinance amending the zoning ordinance regarding parking requirements and introduction. Next item on the agenda is E, ordinance amending fiscal year 2026 annual operating budget and submitting Council President Ferry by request introduction. Next item on the agenda under F is ordinance amending the ordinance survey pertaining to salaries of department heads and other unclassified services. Council President Ferry by request introduction. The next item on the agenda under G is ordinance relating to the mandatory retirement age of police officers and firefighters for first reading. Council President Ferry by request. First reading, sir.
I'm sorry.
We did have an inside of public.
Mr. Clerk, and I apologize if I'm misremembering this, and that's for a point of clarification. My recollection was this was second reading on this one. Right.
It is
If I misremembered, I apologize. I just want to make sure we're not incorrectly.
It was introduced once.
Okay.
Because no one spoke about it, it was an introduction once.
Okay. I must have it backwards. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure we weren't incorrectly in here.
I think you can't be experienced, and I don't think the age should be covered as chief or fire chief. I think experience that.
Councilperson Baena?
Yes.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes.
Councilperson Guerrero?
Yes.
Councilperson Ruben Studo?
Yes.
Councilperson Gonzalo Martinez?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Council President Craig? Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, under H, is ordinance amending Appendix A of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Central Falls, titled zoning, adopted February 10, 2025, including family child care homes, home-based child care, second reading. No one's on the clock there. Finally, Council President, this is the first motion. The second by Councilperson Baena?
Yes.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes.
Councilperson Guerrero?
Yes.
Councilperson Ruben Studo?
Yes.
Councilperson Gonzalo Martinez?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Council President Craig?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. The next item on the agenda is adjournment.
I'll make the motion.
Well, that was a great meeting.
Yes.
Stand adjourned.
No, I think the same. Sorry, I'm sorry. I hate to do this. It's a really easy mistake the last time. You guys are good. Unless we're just already been dead. Introduction. I hate sorry. I had a question. No, yeah, maybe I must have had it wrong even a month back. Yeah, well.
My